New York City, March 1971. The Godfather is in production. Week 3. The set is tense, the kind of tension that comes when too many people have too much invested, when millions of dollars hang on decisions being made in real time, when careers are being built or destroyed with every scene. Al Pacino is 31 years old. This is his first major film role. He's done theater, off-Broadway, some television, nothing like this, nothing with this budget, this pressure, this scrutiny. And he's playing Michael Corleone, the role of a lifetime, the role that will define him. If he doesn't get fired first, because that's the rumor, the whisper spreading through the crew. The studio wants him gone. Paramount executives watch the dailies every night. They don't like what they see, don't like Al's choices, don't like his energy, don't like him. They wanted someone else, Robert Redford, Ryan O'Neal, Warren Beatty, someone who looks like a movie star, not this intense, brooding, difficult actor who barely speaks between takes. Francis Ford Coppola is fighting for him, fighting the studio, fighting his own doubts, betting his career on this unknown actor. But even Francis isn't sure. The first 3 weeks of footage aren't good. Al seems lost, disconnected. Not bad, just not there. Not Michael Corleone, just Al Pacino trying to be Michael Corleone. And there's a difference. Robert Duvall watches all of this. He's 40 years old, playing Tom Hagen. He's been in this position before. The new guy, the unknown, the one people doubt. He remembers the fear, the pressure, the feeling that you're drowning and everyone is watching you struggle. But what nobody knows yet is that Robert Duvall is about to save The Godfather by saving Al Pacino. The scene they're shooting today is the restaurant where Michael kills Sollozzo and McCluskey. The moment Michael transforms from civilian to killer, from innocent to guilty, from son to monster. It's the most important scene in the film. If this doesn't work, nothing works. Al has been preparing for weeks, studying, rehearsing, working with Francis, but something is off. Everyone can feel it. The performance is too internal, too quiet, too small. The camera can't find it, can't capture what Al is feeling because Al is holding it too tight, protecting it, hiding it. They've been shooting for 6 hours, 15 takes. Francis keeps calling for another. The executives are on set today. Watching, judging. This is their ammunition, their proof that Al Pacino isn't working, that he needs to be replaced. Between takes, Al sits alone, smoking, staring at nothing, the weight of it crushing him. He knows he's not delivering, knows the studio wants him gone, knows Francis is running out of political capital to protect him, knows this might be his last chance. This is where everything changes. Robert Duvall walks over, sits down next to Al. Doesn't say anything at first. Just sits. He smokes his own cigarette, lets the silence exist, doesn't fill it with forced encouragement or hollow platitudes. Finally, Al speaks. His voice is quiet, defeated. "I'm fucking this up." Robert takes a drag. "Yeah, you are." Al looks at him, surprised. Most people have been telling him he's doing great, that it's the lighting, the blocking, the camera angle, anything but the truth. But Robert just confirmed what Al already knows. He's fucking it up. Robert continues. You know why? Al shakes his head. Because you're trying to be Michael Corleone. You're trying to show everyone what a great actor you are. You're trying to prove you deserve to be here. And all of that trying is killing the performance. Wait, don't miss this detail. What Robert Duvall is actually teaching in this moment, Al doesn't respond, doesn't know how to respond. Because Robert is right. Al has been trying so hard, trying to be good enough, trying to justify Francis's faith in him, trying to prove the studio wrong. And all of that trying has created a wall between him and the character. Robert says, "Let me tell you something I learned from Sanford Meisner. You know Meisner?" Al nods. "Neighborhood Playhouse. I've heard of him. Meisner taught me that acting isn't about showing. It's about being. You don't show the audience what Michael is feeling. You feel it, and the camera finds it. The camera always finds truth. But it can't find anything if you're performing." Robert stubs out his cigarette. "Right now you're performing. You're showing us you're scared. You're showing us you're conflicted. You're showing us you're about to become a killer, and it's all bullshit. Because Michael wouldn't show any of that. Michael would bury it, would hide it, would pretend everything is normal until the moment he pulls the trigger. Al listens. Really listens. This is different from Francis's direction. Far different from acting class. This is practical. Specific. True, Robert continues. Stop trying to give a great performance. Just be a man sitting in a restaurant about to commit murder. That's it. That's the whole scene. Everything else is noise. He stands up, looks at Al. You know what your problem is? You're a theater actor. On stage, you have to project, have to make sure the back row feels what you're feeling. But film is different. Film finds the smallest truth. You think you're being subtle. You're not. You're still playing to the balcony. There is no balcony. There's just a camera 3 feet from your face. And that camera sees everything. Every lie, every performance, every moment you're trying instead of being. Robert walks away, leaves Al sitting there, processing, understanding something that changes everything. You haven't seen Al Pacino's biggest transformation yet. They reset for another take. Take 16. The executives are getting impatient. Francis is getting desperate. The crew is getting tired. Everyone knows this needs to work or they're done. Al walks to his mark. But something is different. His body language has changed. He's not preparing, not getting into character. He's just there, present, quiet, waiting. Francis calls action. The scene begins. Al sits at the table. Sollozzo and McCluskey talk. Al doesn't react, doesn't show anything, just sits, listens, exists. His hands shake slightly. Not because he's performing nervousness, because he's actually nervous, because he's let himself be vulnerable instead of protected. He excuses himself, goes to the bathroom. The camera follows, close, intimate, and for the first time, you can see Michael Corleone. Not Al Pacino playing Michael, just Michael. A man about to cross a line he can never uncross, about to kill for the first time, about to destroy his own innocence. Al finds the gun, holds it, looks at it. And in that look, everything changes. You see the calculation, the fear buried under determination, the human being wrestling with the monster he's about to become. It's not performed, it's lived, it's real. He walks back to the table, sits down. The conversation continues. But Al is different. Michael is different. You can feel the violence coming, can feel the tension building, not because Al is showing it, because he's containing it, because he's doing exactly what Robert said. As being instead of showing. Then he pulls the trigger. 2 shots, efficient, brutal, final, and walks out. His face blank. Not blank because he's emotionless, blank because he's shutting down, protecting himself from what he just did, from what he just became. Francis calls cut. The set is silent. Everyone knows. They just watched something extraordinary. Not a performance, a transformation. The moment an actor disappeared and a character was born. Francis looks at the script supervisor. Did we get that? She nods, tears in her eyes. We got it. Francis walks to Al, hugs him, says quietly, That's Michael. That's who we've been looking for. Whatever you did differently, keep doing it. Al glances at Robert. Robert gives him a small nod, an acknowledgement, a confirmation. You did it. You stopped trying. You just were, and it worked. This is where Robert Duvall's real impact begins. That night, the dailies screen for the executives. They watch the restaurant scene. Watch Al's performance. The room is silent when it ends. One executive, Robert Evans, says, Okay, he stays. That's it. That's all. The death sentence is lifted. Al Pacino will not be fired, will not be replaced, because he finally gave them what they needed. Truth instead of performance. Being instead of showing. But Al knows the truth, knows what changed, knows that without Robert's intervention, without those words between takes, he would still be drowning, would still be trying, or would still be failing. The next day, Al finds Robert in the makeup trailer, says, Thank you for yesterday, for telling me the truth. Robert shrugs. I didn't tell you anything you didn't already know, just reminded you to stop getting in your own way. Al says, nobody else was telling me that. Francis was trying to encourage me. The crew was trying to be supportive. You were the only one who told me I was fucking up and why. Robert looks at him. You want to know why I did that? Al nods. Because 15 years ago, someone did the same thing for me. Sanford Meisner. I was trying so hard to be a good actor that I forgot to be a good human being in imaginary circumstances. He told me to stop performing, stop showing, just be. And it changed everything. He pauses. I saw you making the same mistake, saw you drowning and trying, and I remembered how lonely that feels, how much you need someone to tell you the truth, not to be nice, not to protect your feelings, but to show you the way out, Al asks. Why didn't Francis tell me that? Robert smiles. Francis is a director. His job is to get the performance he needs. My job as an actor is to help you find it. Different roles, different responsibilities. But what nobody knows yet is how deep this mentorship will go. Over the next 6 months of filming, Robert becomes Al's anchor, his guide, his safety net, not in an obvious way, not in a way anyone else notices, but in the quiet moments, between takes, during breaks, in the times when Al starts to doubt himself again, starts to try too hard again, starts to perform instead of be. Robert is there, with a look, a word, a reminder. Stop showing, start being. 4 words, that's all, but 4 words that save Al over and over. There's a scene later in the film where Michael comes back from Sicily, where he's transformed, harder, colder. The man who left is gone. The dawn has arrived. It's a crucial scene, the culmination of Michael's arc. And Al is struggling again. Because how do you play transformation? How do you show that you're different without showing that you're different? It's the same trap as before. The same tendency to perform instead of be. Robert watches Al rehearse, sees the struggle, sees Al trying to play cold, play hard, play transformed. It's not working. It's still performance. During a break, Robert says, Michael doesn't know he's changed. He thinks he's still the same person. And he thinks he's still the good son, the war hero, the one who wasn't going to be part of the family business. But everyone else can see it, can see what he's become. That's the tragedy. That's the scene. Al stops, processes. So I don't play the transformation? Robert shakes his head. You play the denial of the transformation. You play Michael trying to be who he was and failing. Because who he was is dead, died in that restaurant. Everything after is just a ghost pretending to be alive. Al takes this in, goes back to the scene. And suddenly it works. Because he's not playing transformed. He's playing a man who doesn't realize he's transformed, playing continuity while everyone else sees change. It's brilliant, subtle, true. Francis watches the dailies that night, calls Robert, says, What did you say to Al today, before the scene? Robert tells him. Francis is quiet for a moment, then says, You know you're directing him, right? You're giving him more than I'm giving him. Robert says, I'm giving him what I needed when I was where he is. That's not directing. That's surviving. This is the most shocking part. What this relationship costs Robert Duvall. Award season 1973. The Godfather has been released. It's a phenomenon, cultural, financial, critical. Everyone involved becomes a star, especially Al Pacino. He's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. His performance as Michael Corleone is praised as groundbreaking, revolutionary, a new kind of film acting, quiet, internal, real. Robert Duvall is also nominated, Best Supporting Actor, for Tom Hagen. It's his first Oscar nomination. He's thrilled, honored, proud of the work. The ceremony arrives. Best Supporting Actor is announced. Joel Grey wins for Cabaret. Neither Robert nor Al wins. They lose together, share the disappointment together. But something else happens. Something nobody talks about publicly, but everyone in the industry knows. Al Pacino becomes a star, a major star, immediate leading roles, big budgets, A-list status, while Robert remains a character actor, respected, talented, but not a star, never a star. Some people whisper that Robert made Al, that Al's performance was built on Robert's coaching, Robert's mentorship, Robert's generosity. And now Al is getting the glory while Robert remains in the shadows. Robert hears these whispers. Doesn't respond, doesn't confirm or deny. Just keeps working, keeps showing up, keeps being the actor who helps other actors, who serves the story instead of serving himself. Years later, 1975, Al Pacino is shooting Dog Day Afternoon. It's a demanding role, exhausting, emotional, and Al is struggling again. Different struggles, but struggles. He calls Robert, asks if they can talk. They meet at a diner in New York. Al explains what he's fighting with, the character, the performance, the fear that he's trying too hard again, that he's performing instead of being. Robert listens, then says, "You're going to be fighting this your whole career. Every actor does, the trying, the performing, the fear that you're not good enough. It never goes away. You just get better at recognizing it and letting it go." Al asks, "Does it get easier?" Robert shakes his head. "No, it gets harder, because the more successful you become, the more pressure there is, the more people expect. The more you have to lose, the trying gets louder, not quieter." Al looks defeated. "So what's the answer?" Robert smiles. "Same answer as always. Stop trying. Start being. Trust that you're enough. Trust that the truth is enough. Trust that the camera will find it if you just let it happen." Al says, "You make it sound simple." Robert says, "It is simple. It's just not easy." Everyone learned the truth, but the real shock was Robert Duvall's reaction. 1996. Like 25 years after The Godfather, Al Pacino is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. The ceremony includes montages of his greatest performances, testimonials from directors, co-stars, friends. Al gives an acceptance speech, talks about his career, his journey, the roles that defined him. Then he says something unexpected. "There's a person who isn't here tonight. Well, he is here in the audience, but he should be up here with me. Because without him, none of this happens. Without him, I don't survive The Godfather, don't become Michael Corleone, don't have a career." The camera finds Robert in the audience. He looks uncomfortable. Doesn't like attention, doesn't like being singled out. Al continues, "Robert Duvall taught me the most important lesson I've ever learned as an actor. He taught me that acting isn't about showing, it's about being. He taught me to stop trying and start trusting. And every great performance I've given in 40 years has been built on that foundation, on that lesson, on that moment when he sat down next to me and told me I was fucking up and why." The audience laughs, applauds. Robert shifts in his seat, still uncomfortable. Al finishes. "People ask me all the time about my method, my process, my technique, and the truth is, I don't have one. I have 4 words. 4 words Robert Duvall gave me in 1971. Stop showing, start being. That's it. That's my entire career. Thank you, Robert, for saving me, for teaching me, for being the kind of actor who makes other actors better instead of competing with them." The camera stays on Robert. He nods, acknowledges the tribute, but doesn't stand, doesn't take a bow, doesn't seek applause, just sits, present, quiet, letting Al have his moment, because that's who Robert Duvall is, the man who helps, who teaches, who gives without needing credit. After the ceremony, reporters ask Robert about Al's speech, about his mentorship, about whether he feels he deserves recognition for Al's success. Robert's answer is simple. "Al Pacino's success is Al Pacino's achievement. I gave him some advice. He did the work. He took the risk. He trusted himself enough to stop trying. That's the hard part. Anyone can give advice. Actually taking it, actually changing, that's courage, that's talent, that's all Al." A reporter pushes, "But without your intervention, The Godfather might have been very different." Robert shrugs. "Maybe, maybe not. If I hadn't said anything, someone else would have, or Al would have figured it out himself. You don't build a career on one piece of advice. You build it on 40 years of showing up, of doing the work, of trusting yourself. Al did that, not me." As security approached, Robert Duvall turned around. 2015. A documentary about The Godfather is being made, 44 years after filming. The filmmakers interview everyone: Coppola, cast members, crew, and finally, Al and Robert, together, on camera, for the first time talking publicly about their relationship during filming. The interviewer asks Al, What specifically did Robert tell you that changed your performance? Al thinks. It wasn't just one thing. It was a way of seeing, a way of understanding what the camera does, what truth means. Robert taught me that film is different from theater, that less is more, that the camera finds the smallest truth, that trying creates a wall between you and the truth. He looks at Robert. But more than the technical stuff, he taught me to trust myself, to believe that what I was feeling was enough, that I didn't need to prove anything, didn't need to show anyone how good I was. I just needed to be present, honest, real. The interviewer turns to Robert. Did you know at the time how important your advice would be? Robert shakes his head. I knew Al was struggling, knew he was in his own way, but I didn't know if what I said would help, didn't know if he'd listen, didn't know if it would work. I just knew I had to try. Because when I was where he was, someone tried for me. And that made all the difference. The interviewer asks the question everyone wants answered. Do you think Al Pacino would have survived The Godfather without your intervention? Robert considers this carefully. I think Al Pacino would have found his way. Maybe not in time for The Godfather. Maybe he would have been fired and replaced. Maybe he would have figured it out later. But talent like Al's doesn't stay hidden, doesn't stay lost. I might have accelerated the process, might have saved him some pain. But I didn't create his talent, didn't create his commitment. I just reminded him to get out of his own way. Al interrupts. That's bullshit. I was drowning. You threw me a rope. Don't minimize that. Robert smiles. I threw you a rope. You grabbed it. You pulled yourself up. That's the difference. The interviewer asks one final question. Robert, you've had a long career, played incredible roles, won an Oscar, been nominated 6 times, but you're often described as an actor's actor, someone respected by peers but not famous with general audiences. Does that bother you? Robert doesn't hesitate. No, because being an actor's actor means I'm doing my job, means I'm serving the story, serving the character, serving the other actors. That's what matters. That's what lasts. He pauses. Al became a movie star. I became a working actor. Both are valid. Both have value. Al's path required charisma and leading man energy. My path required reliability and truth. Different paths, different destinations, both honorable. And honestly, I've had the better career. Because I've never had to carry a film. Never had the pressure of opening weekends. Never had my face on billboards. I just show up. Do good work. Go home. That's freedom. That's sustainability. That's a career you can maintain for 60 years. What about you? Right now, in your work, in your life, are you trying to be a star or trying to be excellent? Are you performing for attention or working for truth? Are you competing or helping? Because Robert Duvall taught Al Pacino the most important lesson in acting, but the lesson applies to everything. Stop showing, start being, stop trying to prove, start trusting. Stop performing, start living truthfully. Al Pacino became a star because he learned to stop trying to be one. Robert Duvall became a legend because he never wanted to be one. Both men succeeded. Both men built careers that lasted decades. Both men created work that matters. But only one of them saved the other. Only one of them reached out when someone was drowning. Only one of them gave without needing credit. That's Robert Duvall, the actor's actor, the mentor. The man who teaches by example that greatness isn't about attention, it's about authenticity. 44 years later, Al Pacino still uses those 4 words, stop showing, start being, still builds every performance on that foundation, still credits Robert with saving his career, with teaching him the truth, with being the kind of artist who helps instead of competes. What are you building your work on? Who are you helping? Who are you teaching? Because the measure of success isn't how famous you become, it's how many people you lift as you rise. Robert lifted Al. Never asked for credit, never needed recognition, just did it because someone once did it for him. That's legacy, that's impact. That's the difference between being a star and being essential, between being famous and being important, between having a career and changing lives. 4 words, 1 conversation, 44 years of impact. What 4 words do you need to hear? What 4 words do you need to say? Because somewhere, someone is drowning. Someone is trying too hard. Someone needs a rope. Are you throwing it? Or walking past? That's the choice. That's always the choice. Robert threw the rope. Al grabbed it. And together, they created something immortal. Not just the Godfather, but a partnership, a brotherhood, a legacy of one artist helping another, of excellence supporting excellence, of truth serving truth. Stop showing, start being. 4 words. That's all. 4 words that saved Al Pacino. 4 words that define Robert Duvall. 4 words that might save you. If you listen, if you trust, if you stop trying and start being. The camera is always watching. The truth is always visible. Stop performing it. Start living it. That's the lesson. That's the legacy. That's Robert Duvall.